Hey everybody, our bees are enjoying one of the last warm fall days before it gets too cold for them to really leave the hive, and they are soaking it all in right now, these ladies are. But something else that happens every fall here in Utah is what's called the Conservative Climate Summit. It's organized by Senator John Curtis, a Republican, who founded the Conservative Climate Caucus in Congress. And I went this year at the University of Utah, where it was hosted, to try to understand what it means to be a member of the Republican Party and be interested in climate change and cleaner energy when the president and other members of Congress either don't want to talk about climate change or completely deny the well-established science that fossil fuel emissions are warming our atmosphere and that is altering our climate. Well, I went and asked those questions, talked to the senator, and here's what he said. This is the Conservative Climate Summit, organized by Senator John Curtis, who himself launched the Conservative Climate Caucus in Congress. Here, as attendees scarf down the last of the breakfast apples, there are talks on wildfire and forest management, how Utah's reserves of critical minerals can be unlocked, and why nuclear and geothermal power may be how we fuel our homes in the somewhat near future.
Here in Utah, you've got jobs that are connected to this, and not just jobs, but rural jobs.
Yes, you will hear the words climate change and acknowledgments about its growing effects here in Utah. You will hear about clean energy. And with that, my big question that I just can't shake. How do you talk about climate as a Republican senator when the very word is politically fraught at the moment?
Let's start with this. I've never once found a Utahn that doesn't want to leave the earth better than they found it. Right? And that's, instead of going into this like divisive climate, do you think the climate's changing? Do you think man's influenced it? That never ends well, but let me ask any Utahn, do you want to leave the earth better than you found it? And they will tell you yes. They'll also tell you less pollution is better than more pollution. So as conservatives, we care deeply about leaving this earth better than we found it. So why are we afraid of this conversation? And that's the whole point of today, is to show conservatives that, hey, you have a role here. And by the way, when you're not here, people are making decisions for you that you don't like.
How do you have conversations about climate when the Trump administration has been openly antagonistic against climate science? The president was at the UN just a few weeks ago. Yeah. He called climate science a con job. So how do you have productive conversations when that's where the political winds are blowing?
So listen, I'm smiling because from the first time I uttered climate, I've been dealing with an uphill battle because just Republicans and conservatives are so like uncomfortable with it. But I will point out that when I formed the Conservative Climate Caucus in Washington, D.C., people said you'll get 2 or 3 Republicans to join. Today, 85 House Republicans. It's the largest caucus in Washington, D.C., is a Republican caucus that talks about climate. Because members of Congress were tired of not having a voice. They were tired of not having an answer. And what we show them is how conservatives should respond to this in a positive way, in an uplifting way that shows why we think some of these approaches have not worked and what we would do instead.
Now, it should be said that Republicans, when passing President Trump's big, beautiful bill, agreed to roll back incentives for cleaner energy production, like solar panels on homes and businesses. And President Trump stepped in to block a major wind power project off the East Coast while promoting fossil fuel use, which scientists agree is driving climate change. Now, you won't hear much about that here, but you will hear a lot about non-carbon energy technology like nuclear, which Senator Curtis believes will be a major part of Utah's energy future.
And now to scale up a nuclear plant is so expensive. But the number of nuclear plants we need, I believe, will bring that down as we scale up and we get better and better at it. I think nuclear will be eventually very price competitive. Recycling is an issue, but there's some really exciting technology out there about recycling. You know, there's a lot of medical isotopes. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, we burn about 4% of that nuclear fuel rod. So there's 96% unused.
There's more to use.
Yeah, and so by taking a generation off, we missed the innovation that would have fixed those things. But I do think U.S. innovation will quickly lead to answers. I don't think we should take it lightly, but I think we can look to innovation for answers in what to do with both reusing and storing.
Senator Curtis, I appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
Brian. Yeah,
Thank you so much. Good
yeah,
seeing you.
yeah.